I also think that Jack 7, Jack 6 might have been raising already earlier. Oh, fuck. Just gonna call you, the big blind isn't the most aggressive player when it comes to squeezing. My range is for sure here the strongest from all players, since I will have also tens, jacks, and queens with a certain frequency in my range, which small blind and button should never have. And I also still have a lot of strong jack X. I have sevens and sixes in my range, and I don't have all these offsuited hands like queen 10, king, queen off. Like, I usually fold them or I 3-bet them. So I don't carry so many offsuited air hands in my range, which allows me to bet relatively wide. I'm gonna check back this one. It's an interesting spot when it's checked to me. What sizing do we want to apply? Do we want to bet very big or we want to bet small? I mean, we have also hands like tens in our range. I'm going to raise here. I don't think that big fox is folding a jack anyway. I also think that Jack 7, Jack 6 might have been raising already earlier. Oh, fuck. Alright, so he just calls the flop. Is he just calling with Jack 7, Jack 6? I mean, he could jams easily something like 7-6, a weak 2 pair, 7-5, 6-5. He could be jamming. There are a lot of bluffs actually. I think I'm gonna go for a call. He's not having fives, he doesn't call fives. He can have 6-8 with backdoor flush draw floating the flop, 7-8, 7-9, a lot of 7x, 8-7. Let's go. Welcome guys, today I will go over two very interesting hands that played in the 10k WCOOP high roller. Two spots where I was in a situation to bluff catch the river, one situation where I went right, one situation where it went wrong, and it's very easy to judge it based on the results. And of course I receive a lot of messages and I see a lot of comments which show me that there's so many players very results orientated, and it's very important that you have a very logical approach in these spots and try to gather as much information as you have and consider all variables that might influence your decision, and of course based on your experience, based on the specific opponent that you're playing against. So let's look into the first hand where I open 9-8. I cold call 9-8 suited here. I think it's fairly standard. I wouldn't mind 3-betting here with this stack depth, but I think it's whatever. On the flop, we have a clear lead. We do have a lot of very strong hands. We might be flatting jacks here. We have all sets. We have some very high equity draws like 9-8 suited, 10-9 suited, backdoor flush draw. And we have some strong jack X as well. And also our range is, in terms of the air part, the narrowest. So we don't have king queen off. We don't have, or at least with 3-betting king queen off with a high frequency. We don't have queen 10 off. We don't have ace 10 off, which the guy from MP might be opening. We don't have all the ace king combos that are 3-betting pre-flop with a high frequency. So we have most of the time suited combos that connect with the jack. We have pairs, and then our air part is only like suited combos, king queen suited, queen 10 suited, which most of the time also have a backdoor flush draw. So this allows us to have a very high stepping frequency. Gordon's range is also more towards suited, but he then starts adding more weaker hands like even something like king 5 suited, or all suited aces basically, maybe something like queen 8 suited that we are never going to be flatting here. And big fox in this moment can also overcall relatively wide. I think maybe jack 7 suited shouldn't be an overcall here, but I think he might be overcalling it. So however, I went ahead to step. We get a call from a small blind, and Big Fox here has basically, or supposed not to have, a raising range here. I'm not sure how much aware people are in these days when it comes to playing multi-way. I feel like they're going to be do too much raising here, which is going to be very detrimental for their calling range, of course, because it's very heavily capped and very easy to exploit. Is when you already start raising some sets here. Ruffleshove, I think, should do a lot of raising here. It's a spot where he wants to be even raising hands like Queen Jack, King Jack for protection. This is now becomes more of a protection game as well, because yes, we're gonna have some strong hands betting, but I'm gonna have hands like King Queen, Queen 10, backdoor flush draw, maybe something like Ace 5 in hearts, Ace 8 in hearts. So he definitely wants to start raising those hands with a high frequency and start protecting. This is where multi-way becomes a little bit different to heads-up pots, and you want to raise hands that are not so natural to you. And then, of course, it doesn't mean that you're going to play for stacks. It's just purely for protection, folding out all the equity. That's where we have to shift away from thinking, yeah, we have to play according to our hand strength, so we have a top pair. We don't want to overplay it. That's right, we don't want to overplay it, but we still have a significant amount of equity in this pot. And yeah, and then of course he can also be raising some 7/8s himself to pressure our Jack X. I mean, if we have Queen Jack, Jack 10, and we face a raise, we have to fold, right? So even if he has something like Jack 9 suited here, it would be a very sexy raise, because we have to fold Queen Jack, Queen 10, sorry, Jack 10, Queen Jack, and even King Jack. And he also protects, we might be stepping 7/8, which have a lot of equity. So there are a lot of merits in raising, and having a set is the most unlikely outcome here for us to have. So you shouldn't be worried about that, and just, you know, play the spot relatively aggressive. But I think this doesn't happen in practice. This is also something I'm teaching in the Tournament Masterclass, how to play multi-way, and something where I feel that people do the most mistakes, because it's nothing that most players study a lot. So for that reason, just by doing a little bit of studying and understanding how multi-way works compared to heads up, you already gain a significant edge. So Ruffleshove calls as well, and this is a really bad turn, because it's very likely that some of the players will have a jack. And I also think blocking 9s and 8s is really bad here, because we want to attack Ruffleshove's pocket 9s and 8s that are going to play exactly like this. And also Big Fox is going to have a lot of 7/8s, 9/8s, 8/7s as well. So in this turn, I would like to continue with, let's say, King Queen, blocking the pot controlled Queen Jacks or King Jacks from Ruffleshove, and yeah, not block the 9s and 8s here. It's not a bad bet as well, but because we have equity with King Queen, we probably don't have an equity against the Jack at all, right? But I would prefer having King Queen here, because blockers then become so important. And since both call, it's very likely that some of them has a Jack. I don't think that, I mean, Big Fox could have some 7x, of course, like 6/5, 7/8 with backdoor flush draw, all these type of hands, pocket 8s maybe, and Ruffleshove will surely have, yeah, a lot of Jack-X himself. It's a dice. I think this doesn't really matter, and something I'm now getting way too much into detail. It's really whatever if you check or bet. The EVs are so close to each other. It's just, I like to then diving a little bit deeper, because I love poker and I love to, you know, solve problems in these spots. And so, yeah, again, checking is of course totally fine. I went for the check, and the river is a 5. And now Ruffleshove block bets. And if he would bet very big, I would more often just call. But if he bets so small, we definitely want to be raising. The problem here is that we cap ourselves. I would definitely, with a low frequency, have some check back boats. because I know that if someone has a jack and I raise the river, they're never going to fold. They're going to bet themselves probably very big as well. They might be over betting. I can jam. They're going to level themselves into, us having something like 7-8 or pocket eights or whatever, now turning it into bluff on a 5 of clubs here on the river. But honestly, I think we don't have so many boats. We can have ace jack, king jack. No, ace jack, I think I would keep betting. Also, it's, again, this is a turn that it just reduces our value combos so much, so we should bluff less, and that means we should also check back some more of our value hands. Not sure how people perceive me doing that. So as you can see, I will have these definitely some value hands here on the river that I can raise for value. Bluffs, what bluffs would I be raising with? Maybe something like ace 8 in suited. It would be basically just pure bluffs, like ace 8, ace 9 maybe. Or if I didn't go for a bet on the turn, let's say with king queen, I opted to check it back, raising this, blocking kings queens, blocking some traps from his king jacks and queen jacks, blocking big foxes, king jacks and queen jacks. Sorry, I think these would be the main hands, and then we face a jam from big fox, and of course for him it's very easy to see that we're quite capped because we check the turn and we don't have all the value hands. So all of them might have more value hands than we have. However, big fox should be checking a lot of his sets and two pairs on the flop. I don't think he will have jack 6 suited here in the small blind. And I was doing a little bit of equi-labbing here to see what can he jam and what's my equity. So again, it's really random, and it's not just something where you pull up PioSolver and then you look up the result. So I would assume he is doing some raising with 7s and 6s on the flop. I'm not sure. He should never raise a set here multi-way. In the small blind, always let the big the PFR react first. So I'm giving him something like this: 9-8 suited for the straights. 50 combos. 50% of the 7-8 suited combos, 50% of the 6-5 suited combos, and some 4-5 suited combos. That means and 50% of 7s and 6s. And already then we have 56% equity. I mean, we only need 32.5. So even if we give him all sets, I mean, he could have 5s. Is he calling 5s on the flop? No, I don't think so. So even if he has all sets in only a few combos of 7-8 and 7-8 and 6-5 and 4-5, and I think he has like 10% of 7-6 suited. It's just it's technically a no-brainer call. Let's make it a little bit worse for us. So let's give him only 25% of 7-8 suited and 25% of the 7-6 suited. Let's see how then. And you can see if he only bluffs one combo of 7-8 and one combo of 6-5 suited, it's technically a call. Then it becomes a break-even call. But I think he's very much capable of jamming all his 8-7s, all his 6-8 suiteds, and then we end up overfolding. He generates a lot of profit here on the river and I think this would be a spot, to be honest, because I know how easy to overbluff this is and how narrow his value range is, that his frequencies can easily get out of line. You know that I'm always a big fan of making hero folds on rivers, but I'm definitely also the type of player when I recognize a spot where his bluffing range can be incredibly wide and his value range is insanely narrow, that I'm very, very sticky and I'm basically calling my entire range. And even if I have a jack here, like if I raise king jack for value on the river, I would probably call that as well. I wouldn't fold one thing. Let's see if we have. I think it shouldn't make any difference. Jack is even a better bluff catcher than okay. Well, actually, it's not, because he might be value jamming 9-8. With 9-8, we're at least splitting sometimes. But if we give him the full amount of 7-8 suited and only 25% of 6-5 suited, 6-8 suited, 6-7 suited, then it's gonna be already a break-even call. So yeah, I think even with King Jack I would have called here, because not necessarily only him, but the way a lot of high stakes rakes are approaching the spot, I think, is a little bit too bluffy. So let's give him also the 7-6 and some 6-5 suited combos. Yeah, you see then already we have a profitable call. Not sure if he jams 9-8 even though. So he might not jamming even all of the 9-8 suited, because against the bet and the raise on a paired board, yeah, I don't think we can ever fold a jack here under these circumstances. So in this spot, I was right. Of course, that feels always good. And you're going to have a lot of situations where you're going to be wrong as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, let me know. And then see you guys next time. Stay strong and let's crush.